Hi everyone, welcome back on Football Fan Zone, episode 6. It's been a lovely ride. Thank you guys for always supporting. Don't forget to like, share, comment if you enjoy what we do. And like we always say, if you have any suggestions, let us know. Today, I'm in great company. Like always, I'm with Mamude. Mamude is in the building. How's it going, Pius?
Yeah, Adams, another weekend. Nice to be here once again. Yeah, looking forward to dissecting, analyzing the weekend's fixtures. Yeah, so absolutely interesting. Can't wait to get started. Let's go.
Yeah. Let's get started. Very interesting weekend. I don't know where you want to pick it up from. Of course, the Manchester Derby few hours ago, and Manchester United sadly lost lost to Man City. But yeah, a lot of interesting results. Of course, Arsenal winning 5-0 against Sheffield United, which most people expected, and Chelsea's loss to Brentford. Of course, always very difficult result for me. Um, at Stamford Bridge, and your Liverpool, able to win against Nottingham Forest.
Yes. Yes, too. Thanks, Adams. Just like you mentioned, another weekend of EPL action, big games. Of course, there will always be winners and there will always be losers, and
Yeah.
so let's start off from the Manchester Derby, which we just experienced a few hours ago. So it ended at Old Trafford, Manchester United nil, Manchester City 3. The city of Manchester is going to remain blue. The noisy neighbors are having the last laugh right
Yeah.
now. So for Manchester United fans, the inquest continues for them. What is actually the problem? Before I come to you, Adams, I would just like to ask you, from your own neutral point of view, from a neutral looking in from the outside as a Chelsea fan,
Yeah.
Manchester United. I've seen a lot of divided opinions among their fans. What is the issue? Is it the ownership, the Glazers? Some people are even put the blame around Henry Ten Hag, that Henry Ten Hag is using the ownership to shield himself from the blame. The tactic is not working. What is he training the team on? There is no clear pattern of play from the team. Or is it the players? Is it the players are not just good enough for Manchester United? So out of those three things, what do you think the problem is? Or do you have something else you also want to point out?
I think out of the three things that you just outlined, every one of them, of course, have a share. But I think the one that will take the larger portion of the blame for me is Ten Hag, and the reason why I say so is he has had time, to work with the team. He has been there for a while. Also, if we look at the types of players that he has signed, um, credit must go to Manchester United board or whoever it is that is handling the transfer because they let him have the players he wanted. In other clubs, there's always this struggle of, oh, they want to sign these players. They are not giving me the players that I want. But him, to a certain degree, he has signed his own players, right? So he has had time. And if you compare that to other coaches, Pep bringing in his own players, now Ateta bringing in his own players, you see the difference, like players that fit into their philosophy, the way they want to play. And if we let's dissect the players that he has bought for a minute, he has brought in Anthony. You see that has not been a great addition to the team. Casemiro, obviously very good signing, but you question, 4 years from now, 3 years from now, what he can add to the team. And he also has some of his inefficiencies as well. And Rasmus Hoyland, who I still think has a very bright future. You see the bits and pieces in this game, but for a team like Manchester United, for what they wanted to do, finishing fourth, you are supposed to try to like or third. You're supposed to try like push on, close the gap. And I felt like going that route was not the best possible way for them. At some point, I know Harry Kane was available. I know it would have been hard, but is Manchester United. Like they could have been ambitious and try to bring somebody of that caliber, of that experience, of that know-how. And then if you look at which other okay, yeah, they signed Mason Mount, they signed Amrabat. So I just look at the signings that he has brought into the team, and I'm not convinced, right? I'm not convinced.
I absolutely agree with you, man. That's one point that people, a lot of Manchester United fans have not been raising, which I think is a big issue. The signings have not been good enough, but also we can also look at the fact that they also have injury worries as well. So there is the some portion of their fan base that is like, oh, don't forget we have some injuries. I think there's one of the signings that I think has worked, but he's injured now. I think it's Tyrell Malacia, the young Dutch, I
Yeah,
think right
yeah,
back. That guy
yeah,
is a solid player, but he's out injured. Let's not also forget Luke Shaw as well. So
yeah, yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know. I don't know where maybe injuries cannot. Well, those two players I've just mentioned, is would it be would you say, oh, if they are there now things will be different? That
Um,
is
yeah, that's
here and
that's
there.
that's the thing. Injuries always play a role. For sure. Like my team as well, we have some key players out. I'm sure you yourself, when you guys had key players out, you know that injuries can play a role. And to that point is yes, but the way they play, like we still don't see like a set pattern. Like
Yeah,
after a year, Arsenal had injury crisis, and towards the back end of last season, and you saw how they still played the way they play, but you could tell that the personnel was different. But here in Manchester United, it's not quite that for me because the way they play doesn't show that, it doesn't show that, oh, we are missing this big piece. And one of their big problems is creating chances, right? Creating chances. If you look at their front three or front four in Rashford, Hoyland, sometimes maybe
yeah,
Marshall, they
Fernandez.
haven't had a lot of chances or goals, and yeah, who else who creates that chances for them? I think is Bruno. Bruno hasn't also
Fernandez.
been very effective. So I'll say injuries, yes, but I still feel like is a lot deeper than that for me.
Yes, yes, I agree with you as well. And around the ownership, right, the Glazers. So I think this week the news came out that Manchester United now has over £1 billion in debt, and people have also put the blame on the ownership, the Glazers, right? So one of the arguments that they put forward against the Glazers is that, oh, the Glazers don't invest in the club. So what they're saying is that the Glazers only, like, so when you point out that because Manchester United are among, I think, one of the top three spenders in terms of transfer fees. So one of the things they put out is that, oh, the Glazers don't put their own money in the club. They always spend what the club generates. So in terms of the club profits and all that, that is what they used to do, spend on transfers and all that. They don't put their own money into investing, like their own, can I call it personal money or something, into the running of the club. There's talk around, oh, like I think Ronaldo mentioned, the training ground is old. The people saying the roof in Old Trafford is leaking, the canteen is subpar, the food they are giving them, they're not eating healthy, and all those kind of stuff. So there's an argument like the culture around the club, that discipline on how you're supposed to run a successful football club is not there. Like that's another thing that they feel like it's from the top, like the top
Hmm.
is when the head is rotting, like we're saying,
Yeah,
the head is rotting, the whole body
yeah,
is going to be sick. So there's also that argument, which I think is also true.
yeah,
And as a Liverpool fan who does, I don't like Manchester United. Like as a Liverpool fan, you are brought up to dislike United, so I don't like
yeah,
them. So, and I was very glad that the ownership deal with the Sheikh Jassim did not go through. I was glad. I'm like, yeah, because I think that went through, there would have been a culture change in the club and
yeah,
things might
yeah,
have gone well for them. But the Glazers are still there. So I think their woes will continue as well. You want
yeah.
to add something?
Yeah. I was just, nodding my head in agreement. I think you're spot on there. Um, when a club has success on the pitch, you have to look from the top, right?
Yeah.
There's something different. There's something they must have done. And when the club is failing as well, it's a reflection of what goes on, what goes around, the back room, what goes around in the back office, right? And the
Yeah.
front office, sorry, like the term they use in basketball, like the front office of the organization. Yeah, and for an institution like Manchester United is one of the great football teams in the world.
Yes,
Let's
in the
even
world.
forget England, like top two or top three in the world, their fan base, their history. To be having issues like that, to be having talks around their canteen, their gym is quite disheartening, right? That should even be something that should come up with
Absolutely.
a world class club like this. The days of Sir Alex Ferguson. you saw the amount of successes that they've had, and it's really poor for those type of things to happen in this type of institution. And as a football fan, forget being a Chelsea fan, as a football fan, it's disheartening, because Manchester United have contributed a lot to the world of football, this game that we love, right? The development of
Absolutely.
this game, making this the English Premier League what it is today, a global entity. And to see a team like that deteriorate is sad. Like, it's not good news at all. So yeah, the owners, I feel like you said, we can also apportion some blame to them.
Absolutely. And still on Manchester United, before we move on, I think another thing around the Erik Ten Hag, which some sort of criticism has been leveled against him as well, is there is this, Sancho mentioned something around favoritism, like,
Mhm.
oh, why are you picking this guy ahead of me? And then today, after the game today, was listening to some Manchester United fans, saying, why is Ten Hag not starting the likes of Garnacho? Today, he didn't start with the recognized left back. You have Sergio Regulon that you brought in. You did not play him. You're not playing Garnacho. Rashford is obviously not at his best. Why don't you start Garnacho? Someone that when he comes in, he gives him his best. Yes, he's a young player, but if he's good, why not? He's good enough. He has shown recently that yes, he's someone that can take up the reins. Why aren't you playing him? So there's been some questions around Eric Ten Hag's selection and tactics, which so Manchester
Yeah.
United feel that he has fell short. That's why some people are starting to put the blame on him as well. They are like, he has been using the Glazers to hide and take cover, like, oh, everything is on the Glazers. But
Right,
people have been
right.
like saying you yourself as well. There are some games that we should have been doing better. Fine, Manchester City is one of even not the best team in the world. Fine, they could have lost today's game, but they did not even show any fight. There was no, you couldn't even see how they were trying to, approach the game. So people were even saying, even the era of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who they criticize that, oh, at least they were approaching some of those games against City. I think he had some good victories against City as well. You could see from the approach, he knew what he wanted to do, and but now people are like, Ten Hag has not gotten it wrong,
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
at all.
I agree with that. I agree with that. You want to see your team, even if your team, especially me, I like to see, even if my team loses, I like to see heart. I like to see them try. I like to see them
Yeah,
compete, right? And Manchester United, like we always know, they do these things like sometimes, and it's still part of their DNA. But today's game, like you said, it was just poor showing all around. I still feel like I'm still of the opinion that no matter who has started that game, I don't just see a way out. I think it was more than the personnel. More than Rashford not starting. Garnacho, I still fail to see what he would have done. I get it. I get it. Like, give chances to other people.
yeah,
Don't make just, don't just continue to stick with the same guys. And Sancho, like you said, he hasn't been playing. I saw a stat sheet of he hasn't, Sancho hasn't played any minute, and he has almost identical, statistics to the guys that have played.
wow,
That's incredible, because I don't think they scored any goal in how many games. I'm talking about the attackers now, and he hasn't played, and he still has the same stats to them. So yeah, it's crazy. And the funny thing is, when things are going well, I remember this same thing was why a lot of people were praising Ten Hag. How ruthless he was with Cristiano. Say, oh no, he's a no nonsense guy. Um, if you don't meet up with the team, you're out the door. Rashford came late one time, and Rashford. I think Rashford was having one of his best moments during that period, and he dropped him. So people were praising him, and now look at how that has turned around on him. It's just football is just a really
yeah.
funny sport.
It is, it is, it is. Well, just before we move on from Manchester United, a very worrying stat that before the show I just stumbled upon. So in the 26, I think 25, 26 years of Alex Ferguson reign in Manchester United, I think they lost around 260 something games or so. You won't believe that within just the 10 years which he has left Manchester United has lost that same identical number of games.
Wow, that's
That
that's
is a
incredible.
damning that is a damning stat
Yeah, that's
for
that's
Manchester
a
United
crazy
fans, man.
crazy stats there, man. It's crazy. Yeah, Alex Ferguson. We all know how important he was for that team. The figure he was. I was
Yeah,
just watching the Beckham documentary, and you see his influence on the team. incredible influence. And when people try to like speak down on, we're fans, right? So we
Yeah.
always try to get one over the other
Know that.
teams, but it never just sits right with me when people try to play down his achievements and compare eras. We do that a lot. We
Yeah.
compare Pep's era, now we compare to Alex Ferguson. I always feel a little bit, like what I don't think you guys understand how,
Yeah. I was
difficult.
just
Yeah.
I was just about to ask you now before we before we move on to from Manchester United. So in Pep Guardiola and Alex Ferguson, right? Who is the better manager for you in your
Oh
view,
man,
right? Because you're looking at it, Pep Guardiola has also now won the treble. The
yeah.
treble that Manchester United fans used to brag about. Guardiola now has a treble.
Yeah,
So who
it's
for you
bro.
is the
I
better
like to
manager?
stay out of this because
No, you
no,
can't
no, no,
start with this. You
no,
must
no,
give me
for
your
real.
opinion.
I think it's man, it's really difficult. Comparing eras is always very difficult. People just always say, "Oh, um, this guy has achieved this and this guy has achieved more than this," but it's different because it was a different time, right? The type of football that was being played at that time is not what we're playing now. Football is different. No, we have to put everything into perspective, right? We have to put everything in perspective. Football was different. I want, you know, Alex Ferguson to be accorded the respect that he deserves. Personally, I feel like Pep is a better manager, like he's a better coach than Ferguson. But I'm saying that knowing that is a very difficult thing. Like it's very difficult to place one over the other. I know they had like an overlap in their times where towards the back end of Fergie's career, Pep was starting to, come up in Barcelona as well. I think they faced, was it 2008 Champions League final where Messi scored.
God, yeah, when
Yeah,
they
yeah.
lost to
So
Barcelona.
that was a different Alex Ferguson that, was already not in his peak, right? Not in his peak, but Pep still won against him. So that will always count for something.
Yeah,
And the treble, like you said, being able to do it with the Barca team, man, incredible team with Messi and those guys, and going to Bayern and doing all they did in Bayern, and coming to City and doing with City. A lot of people argue that, oh, he is a checkbook manager. He always buys players. But even at that, even the way he improves play. I'll talk about Palmer from my team, for example, and the time that he has spent with Pep. You could see those foundations there. You could see like the way he has improved the player, and the coaches now. He's almost like an influencer. The coaches now are like just copying, from his playbook. We can talk about coaches like Arteta, maybe to an extent, Xabi Alonso. I know Alonso worked with different coaches along his career. And yeah, it's just, man, Pep is incredible. But right now, we're in the Pep era. We're seeing it firsthand. Is hard. It's very difficult for Alex Ferguson to stake any claim here. But Alex Ferguson is also equally a great manager as well.
all right, all right. So from everything you said, I think what I can deduce you are saying that Pep is a better manager than Alex
Yeah,
Ferguson. All
yeah,
right then, all right then. Okay, let's leave Manchester United and move over to London, the west side of London. There was a West London derby this weekend. There was a
yeah.
West London derby this weekend. Chelsea at Stamford Bridge hosted Brentford, and I'm sure many of us know what happened, know the results. It was a disappointing one for the boys in blue, the
Yeah,
pride of London. In fact, I saw a quote that said Chelsea is not even the best team in West London.
man.
I'm sorry for that,
Yeah,
man, but
yeah.
I just had to put it in there, man.
Man, it's
So,
crazy how
yeah, yeah,
what's going on right now, man.
yeah.
The banter for the past couple of years, for the
But
past couple, last season
yeah,
and this season.
sorry, before you come in and analyze the game and talk about Chelsea. So just to put another damning start for Chelsea fans, I'm sorry. I just have to put this out there. Brentford has won three their last three consecutive games at Stamford Bridge.
Three straight
Wow,
wins
wow,
at Stamford Bridge.
wow. That's a disappointing one for
Yeah,
Chelsea.
it
But
is. It
but
is.
before I come to you, for my own take from the whole game was Chelsea started the game very well. You could see the positive gameplay. I think Madueke hits the woodwork at one point, in the first half. Chelsea approached the game very well, but Chelsea was just missing that clinical, that finisher. Just like I told you privately, I think Jackson is not him. Jackson is not him at all. I'm just thinking maybe when Nkoku comes in, Chelsea will get that missing link up front, and then that will keep them firing again. Because I think Chelsea is too good a team to be where they are in the table. I think they are supposed to be way higher than. But when you don't have when you have some missing pieces in your team, football is very cruel at times. So let me give it to you now to talk about the game. As a Chelsea fan, I know you've done your review,
Yeah.
a bit of it, and what Chelsea struggles is around breaking down teams in a low block. Is there anything you want to add around it? And what other insight do you have after 24 hours of having time to review the game again? What do you want to add?
To be honest, it just feels like I feel like a broken record because I always repeat the same thing, and because that's actually the case. And for like the past 2 seasons or 3 seasons, we've struggled to break down teams. Forget about last season. Even before then, like we've always struggled to break down teams in a low block. You mentioned Brentford winning three straight wins at Bridge. The last time they came, before last season, we lost 4-1 to Brentford, Stamford
Yeah,
Bridge, under Thomas Tuchel, and it was like similar type of tactic. We we just seem, I don't understand the way the coaches see the problem, but I've seen the same problem time and time again. We have different sets of players and we're facing the same issue. So it's more than, for me, I think it's more than the personnel. It has also to do with the tactics of the coach. I think sometimes some of those coaches, till Pochettino, they play it a little bit too safe. You know, I watch teams like Arsenal and I watched Liverpool when they play similar teams and you see them coming out all guns blazing, even from their starting lineup. This starting lineup, we had three center backs. I'm not saying that starting Malagusto would have changed the results, but just that notion of preparing for a team like Brentford and thinking, oh, they have two really good attackers in Mbemo and Wissa,
please.
and you know, trying to prepare for the game with that. Like, no, we are Chelsea, right? We are Chelsea. We should believe. I'm not saying we're not facing Arsenal, we're not facing Liverpool, we're not facing Man City. We should believe in our own quality and start the best attacking team at home at Stamford Bridge to take away the points. Like, so I felt like the approach to the game sometimes cost us. And now let's go back to the personnel. Now the personnel, like you said, Jackson and not having a striker. I'm also a little bit, I don't know, because we've had big name strikers that have also struggled to score, right? We've had big name strikers at this club that have struggled to score as well. And I don't think the problem or the fix is buying like one of the biggest strikers in Europe and immediately plug him into this team. Now we'll start expecting that he will score 20 goals. I don't think that will happen. To be honest with you, I don't think that will happen. I think we need to change. There has to be like a change in the mentality, right? The
Yeah,
way a lot of the coaches think about approaching games like this and who we are as a team first. And we saw a player like Palmer. I was talking to you how, bro, that kid is special.
he,
And yeah, I feel like with time and maybe more runs of games, we'll start to see some of those partnerships, because a lot of these guys are just learning about themselves. Right? Some of them didn't even have preseason, and there was no set pattern. It's not like a Liverpool or Arsenal where you can just plug in one player and the rest of the guys know what to do. But this is a little different with Chelsea because we've been all over the place in recent years. It will take time for
yeah.
sure. Take time, and it's just concerning that we continue to drop points in this type of games.
Yeah, yeah. I can understand it. It can be very disappointing. Brentford at home for Chelsea. Chelsea fans would have been expecting to win that game. But just I think just like I think I've also told you privately, it's also kind of like you also mentioned it's like a rebuilding season for Chelsea. A transition period. Many young players that are just trying to understand the Pochettino style of play, trying to understand their team. So yeah, it's something that is going to take time for Chelsea. But I'm sure their fans, even no matter what, as fans, even though you know your team is in transition, you still want your
Yeah.
team to be there or there about this season. I'm still going to come and ask you maybe before we leave Chelsea. Where you see Chelsea finishing this season, this season? Okay,
Yeah,
let me ask you now. Where do you see Chelsea finishing on the Premier League
bro, to
table?
be honest, it's tough. It's tough, right? It's really tough to predict that right now. Of course, being a Chelsea fan, I expect my team to do the best that they can do. But we talked about how close it is at the top and the form of those teams. I've said on this show severally that Chelsea's Chelsea's position will be determinant on how good the teams above us do. And
Yeah,
the way it's going, those teams are relentless. Teams like Aston Villa and Newcastle, although they dropped some points, but still very good team. Brighton and those teams, they
yeah,
don't seem like they are going to let off at any point. I predicted us to finish around fifth and sixth. Being a Chelsea fan, being optimistic and hoping for the best. I'm still going to go for a similar, you know, type of position. But again, I know like the teams above us are incredible teams, and the gap is really tight at the top right now. So yeah, it's going to be a very difficult one.
yeah, yes. I think I also agree. For my own prediction for Chelsea, I think Chelsea will be there around the fifth, sixth, maybe sixth position as well. Because I'm looking at like I was looking at the table before the show started, and I'm looking at around that fifth, sixth position. You see teams like Aston Villa, Brighton, Newcastle, around in and around that those positions. And I'm just looking at, and those teams are in Europe, and looking at how it is, I'm looking at Newcastle. Already injuries have started to pile up. Alexandra Isak is out. There's another key player as well for Newcastle who is also out with injury as well. So depending on how far those teams want to go in Europe, Aston Villa as well looking to go find the conference league. So it depend looking at how those it could play in Chelsea. It could play into Chelsea's
Yeah.
hands, right? Those fatigue could come in, and then I also see Chelsea going on a run at some point in the season. I just feel it's going to be inevitable where Chelsea is going to go on that 4-5 game run, and then the rivals above them is going to sleep. It's something that is going to
Yeah.
happen for Chelsea fans. So yeah, maybe this is my way of cheering Chelsea fans up and giving them that that kind of belief. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
kind of nice like that. Uh, just
Except
before,
when it comes to Manchester United.
absolutely, I know. So I'm sorry, no love for Manchester United from me. No apologies for saying that. All right. Okay. So before we also leave Chelsea, so some just to cheer Chelsea fans up, some records which I think amazing records. I was just looking like I'm like, wow, these records. I don't think they can be broken. So Chelsea have like the longest home unbeaten run in the Premier League, 86 games, 86 matches without defeat. I think spanning over 4 seasons at Stamford Bridge where they did not lose.
Yeah,
I think
that should
Liverpool
be
was
Mourinho.
yeah, Mona Mourinho. Liverpool was the last team to try and reach. I think we lost around the 65th game or so. That record is such a difficult record to meet as well. And another record that Chelsea fans can also brag about, which I think is going to be very difficult to break, is the fewest number of
It-
goals conceded at home in a
yeah.
season. 15. No, no,
Nobody's breaking that.
not even at home in the whole season. Just
Yeah,
15 Premier
15
League goals.
goals. Nobody's breaking that. I
I even
said
saw,
I
sorry,
said
just
one of my close
hold on.
one
Let
of
me
my
just
go
hold on.
ahead.
Let me just. So there was an argument like the Invincibles record and that
I,
record of
I was going
which
to
one
that.
is
That was
which
what I
one
was going to
is
say.
which one is the hardest to
Bro,
beat.
I've been on record saying my crazy football take is that the hardest record to break is the Chelsea. I don't think it's crazy. In fact, I don't even think it's crazy. Like the hardest one to break. No club is going. I know Barcelona last season thought they were going to do it, but is not. Is I don't think it's possible. You are not going through a season and concede 15 goals. It's
Goals.
impossible. No
That
club
is
is able to do that.
that's a spectacular record. Anytime I come across, I'm just like, what super team did Mourinho assemble at that point?
No, that was some incredible, bro. No club is breaking that.
No
No
record.
club is conceding 15 goals in a season. I know you
Yeah.
talk about invincibles and all that, bro.
Invisibles is still achievable, right?
Man, no, it's difficult to go through a season without getting beat. And let's be honest, that's why nobody has done it too. Like it's also a
Yeah,
very
record.
big record, right? But I don't think people give this other record the credit that it deserves. Like people always talk about the Invisibles and they have the
Yeah,
only golden trophy, blah blah blah. But this record, nobody talks about it as much as
yeah.
Invisibles, and I think it's up there as well.
All right, that's fine. All right, that's fine. Okay, okay. But use that one too. As a Chelsea fan, use that one whole body. See, at
Yeah,
least that record
that
is
one is
there.
going
Can't
nowhere.
they? All right, all right, all right. Okay.
Just like Arsenal fans, shamelessly always bring up the Invincibles every time.
Say shamelessly, they're going to come for you. Uh, all right, all right. So another game this weekend. Liverpool defeated Nottingham Forest 3-0 at Anfield. Another win for the Reds. A good one for us. We are looking to to capitalize and build up our momentum. It was a good display from the team. I saw the game. It was a fantastic performance from the team. I felt at some point the game was kind of like we could have done more, but come on, 3-0, three points at Anfield. Come on, it's a
Yeah,
possibility for us to take. So I just feel like we're in the right way. I've listened to a lot of Liverpool podcasts and there's this optimism like, yeah, why not? I saw a Dominic Soboslai interview during the week was like, why not? We're going for all the trophies this season. There was a time some 2 seasons ago or 3 seasons ago where we were 2 games for the quadruple. So why not? Why can't we dream of winning everything again? In fact, I'm making a bold prediction here now that we're going to win all trophies on offer for Liverpool
you
this
know,
season.
you don't even believe that. You're saying that nobody believes that you believe what you just said. You don't even believe what you said.
All right, I'm going to come back to this show, and by the time I'm going to come and gloat and say, "Sure, I told you, we won all 4 trophies that we're competing in." Come on, in midweek, in fact, I saw somewhere where Joko was saying Europa League we dispatched the opponent 5-1. Like we're in the wrong competition. In fact, I'm already booking my ticket to the final in Dublin, Ireland, which is not far from where I am right now. In fact, that's how confident I am. This
I
season we're
always
going
say,
for it.
I always say, if as a top team, and when I mean a top team, a team that regularly goes to Champions League, maybe has won Champions League,
Yeah.
always constantly going for the league, and you find yourself in the Europa League, you have no excuse not to win it. Trust me, I don't, bro. You have no. There's absolutely no excuse.
I see what you are doing
No,
there.
no, no, no,
And I
no,
say,
no,
in Liverpool,
no.
I say, now you see, you guys are a failure. You failed.
No, there's no how Liverpool in that competition is too easy, man. It's just, I saw that game. Was it Bordeaux? You guys played Bordeaux,
No,
right?
to lose, to
Toulouse,
lose.
sorry, bro. That game, I 5-1.
And that's supposed to be like the next, like the second place team in the group. It was too easy. It
Too
was too
easy, man.
easy.
You guys had Nunes. Just I saw that chance that he missed, which was
Nunez is another character that's it's something else, that guy. But yeah. So like Liverpool, like the optimism is high. We have Bournemouth on Wednesday in the Carabao Cup as well. So why not go for that one as well and see where it takes
oh
us
yeah.
as well. So yeah, so we're feeling good among ourselves. Even though, to be honest with you, let me just come back down to earth now. After I think we're still not there in terms of challenging for the Premier League, but yeah, good to go. In terms of injuries, no major injuries, I think. We're good to go as well. So yeah,
Gakpo is also back.
yeah, Gakpo is back from injury. Robertson is still out, but I
Oh
think
yeah.
I think he'll be back very soon. Yeah, so we're looking good. Bournemouth in midweek, Luton next weekend in the Premier League.
Yeah.
So
Count the points up. Count the points up.
right now, I'm already counting. Like, oh yeah, looking at it, I'm like, when is Arsenal or Man City going? Who are they playing? When are they going to drop some points for me to capitalize? So yeah, I'm feeling good about myself. Okay, all right, let's quickly talk about Arsenal as well. Arsenal still unbeaten in the Premier League this season. dismantled Sheffield United 5-0. Edin Ketia with a hat trick, a goal for Vieira as well. So we have so Arsenal right now also flying high. And they also defeated Sevilla in the Champions League in midweek. Two terrific goals from Gabriel Martinelli and Gabriel Jesus. So yeah, Arsenal fans are also riding high. It's looking like like it's not even looking like for me personally. I would also like to get your view, and I think Arsenal are going to challenge for this thing and this the Premier League this season. And I just
Yeah.
have a very sneaky feeling. I'm just worried that I think it's Arsenal's time. It's Arsenal's year, the Premier League this time. I just feel they might sneak it. All right, I know you don't agree. What do you think for Arsenal?
Well, I was talking to an Arsenal fan yesterday. I feel so bad for them. This is their
Wow.
best. This is their best team. They had the best one of their best teams in years last season and now, but it's not enough. But like it's crazy how it's not enough. I don't see them stopping City. Like crazy. It is crazy because this team is very good. And I just want to talk about Eddie Nketiah. Personally, I have a soft spot for him. Coban boy came through Chelsea ranks and will let him go. Yeah, they can have that one, but they massively underrate him. A section of Arsenal fans always, they're always on his back. He has to
Yeah,
leave. We
it's
need
not
we
good
need an
enough. Yeah,
upgrade. It's not good enough. But this boy, man, I don't. Only few Arsenal players that I'll talk about in this light, but him, I really like him. I really like him. I feel like a player like that for your team is invaluable. Knowing his place, he knows that he's not going to play every game, but he gives his best every time he's called upon. I think he went on a run last season too when Jesus was out, and he scored some important goals. I know he's not the best, right? He's not going to win them the league or he's not going to do anything crazy, but he will be there when they need him. Like he's somebody that they can count on.
yeah, yeah,
And yeah,
absolutely.
I'm really happy for him as well.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Just to ask you a question around Nketiah. So will you, as a Chelsea fan, will you swap Nketiah for Jackson?
I mean, like, Eddie Nketiah.
Well,
I know
this
you're gonna
you don't give
no
me any yes or no.
Eddie Nketiah.
You are
Eddie,
trying to be
no,
diplomatic. I'm
no,
trying
no.
to.
Eddie Nketiah has, bro.
But
right
come
now,
on. Yeah,
right now, Eddie Nketiah is a good goal scorer. He's a very good finisher, and
I know what's
we're just
coming
lucky that
next.
I just like that finishing. I'm sticking with my boy Jackson. I'm sticking with my boy. I'm, I'm sticking with Jackson because I feel like in maybe not even in Chelsea, but in the next couple years he'll be a serious striker. He'll be a serious
Oh,
player, but maybe not for Chelsea, but he'll be a serious player.
hmm, hmm. All right, all right, all right. That's fine. All right. So Jackson over Nketiah. Well said. I'm just wondering if there are other Chelsea fans that will disagree with you. I'm sure there will be.
Yeah, I'm
But
sure
that's
they'll be.
yeah. All right. So for let's look at the best of the rest. Aston Villa looking good. Now Emery's cooking at Aston Villa as well. It seems they're just 1 point behind Liverpool in fifth position in the Premier League as well. They're also a team that people need to watch out for as well. They keep on winning. Douglas Luiz is on form. Ollie Watkins. There's Leon Bailey. So many decent players at Aston Villa. I was even surprised. I just recently realized that they have this Italian international, Nicolo Zaniolo, in their team as well. And I'm like, wow. They also have this. There's a Spanish defender. Is it? I've forgotten his name now.
Paul
Is it
Gomez. Is it Paul Torres?
Torres? Like a decent defender as well. So Aston Villa is a team that their fans are really optimistic. Like this season, there was even an argument earlier in the season. Funny, people were laughing at the guy. He predicted that Aston Villa would finish ahead of Newcastle this season. People were like, "Oh, what are you saying?" You
Yeah.
never know. Right now, they're currently ahead of Newcastle in the Premier League table. So Unai Emery, a very decent manager. I've always rated him. Like, yeah, good tactician as well. It didn't work out for him at Arsenal, but good one for them. Newcastle, like I mentioned earlier, the injuries have started to pile up for them. They dropped points this weekend, drawing 2-2 at Wolves. Injuries to Alexandra Isak. I think there's Jacob Murphy is also injured as well. So some key players are out for them as well. I don't know if the Champions League and Carabao Cup and Premier League is beginning to take its toll on them. They
Yeah.
play Manchester United on Tuesday, I think, or Wednesday in the Carabao Cup as well. How is that going to affect them as well? It remains to be seen. In terms of their Champions League group, the disappointing results in midweek against Dortmund, their fans were like, that was a game they ought to have won for them to qualify. And rival fans are beginning to taunt them like Europa League is calling for them. But you never know. You never know. They could still sneak in.
Mhm.
So yeah. Adams, is there any other team you want to touch on? Just
I just see. I think Wolves. I've liked Wolves so far. Um, they went to Manchester City. I mean, they got the result against Manchester
Manchester
City.
City. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think for them to draw against Newcastle was also the Korean guy. Korean
Yeah,
guy
that Korean guy.
is on some
It's,
serious form.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy for them. I like the way they play. Also Brighton, they have having like an iffy season, right? It's expected because Europa League is no joke. Europa
Yeah.
League is no joke. It's no joke. They dropped points today against Fulham. Yeah, just hoping my team can capitalize on things like this. But also a very, very good team. But we'll see. We'll see how it pans out for them.
Yeah, we will see. We'll see how it pans out for them. Is there any other team we need to come back? Okay, that's fine. So in terms of Adam, so just to ask you, right? So I'm wearing my Nigerian jersey. Is there any Nigerian player in the Premier League you want to quickly touch around? I was looking at So there was a game on Monday, Tottenham Fulham, and
Mhm.
Tottenham defeated Fulham 2-0, and then Calvin Bassey. Though I didn't see the game, but I saw some analysis on Twitter where they said Calvin Bassey was at fault for the two goals that Fulham conceded. That is kind of it worries me looking ahead to the AFCON. We need our players to be performing at their best. So is is this something like we as Nigerians should be worried about ahead of the AFCON or?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Since that move to Ajax, he has not looked like, he has looked like a shadow of himself. Um, I was accustomed to in Rangers, he played as a centre back. Most of the time, he played, was he right back or left back?
Left
Most of the
back.
left back, yeah. And then, shifting back to left to centre back, he has been really suspect. I was surprised that Fulham came in for him from Ajax. But I saw I remember the goal you're talking about. He gave the ball away. I think it was pressed and he gave a very poor pass to someone and then he robbed him and they scored the goal. I think we should be, it's a little concerning because those are the areas where we have some weaknesses like center back pairing, midfield. I don't quite know who will be the center back pairing yet, but him playing in Premier League, you expect him to get that nod. And for a competition like this, we want all our players to go in the best form, in the best frame of mind. So yeah, I would say it's a little concerning for us, but it's something that has happened over time. Maybe he needs to switch back to his more. I don't know if left back is more preferred position, but he has been really poor since he came to the Premier League and other games too that I've seen him play. He has not been really assured. There's just been something about him. And we played them too. I think, yeah, when we played them, he didn't really do any crazy things, but he wasn't the best as well in that game.
Yeah, that's true. That's well. I think Ola, I know, is just came back
Yeah.
from injury. I saw him against Liverpool today. Ola, I know for me is just there. There, some people see him as a solid defender. There about. I think he's better attacking wise than defensively, but we'll see.
So
We'll
how,
see.
how did he do against Salah today?
I think he did okay. He did okay against Salah. There were some few one-on-ones where I think he got the better of Salah. He was confident.
Yeah.
When he also, I also noticed that he was also one thing he was also looking to bomb forward, looking to create some kind of outlet at the left-hand side of the wing. He always like someone like he always likes to pull in some
Yeah.
crosses as well. So I think attacking wise is an asset for
Yeah. I've
for
always
for
I've
any
always
team.
rated him. I've always rated him highly. I think he's all right, like you said.
Yeah.
Um it would be good to have in the squad. I don't know if you get the not start I saw him against Arsenal, against Saka as well earlier in the season. I think he did well. Um, Against Salah, I didn't really pay too much attention to that battle, but you said he was okay, so that's good.
Yeah, that's fine as well. So quick mention of Taiwo Awoniyi as well. He also I think he just came back from some sort of
Yeah,
knock. He came back today. He came in towards the end of the game as well. So it's good to see our players. The Nations Cup is inching closer. We need everybody
yeah.
fit.
But there are some boys though in the lower division that they are tearing it up.
Yeah,
Ian
yeah,
Shaw and
yeah. There
Enugu.
are there are some boys. Nigeria is spoiled for choice in terms of. I don't envy the NFF and the coach. When it's time to start
There'll be
selecting
some there'll be
players.
some big omissions. I think there'll be some
Yeah,
big omissions.
it's obvious. There will always be for a team like Nigeria. There will always be people missing out and fans like, why is this person not being selected? Oh, in fact, because of this, we're not even going to go anywhere. The typical Nigeria this thing. But yeah, we can only hope for the best for our team, for as the Nations Cup is itching nearer. But in the subsequent shows as well as the Nations Cup is itching closer, we'll be building up more towards that as well. Okay, I think we've come to kind of like the end of the show. Yep. So disappointing result again for Manchester United and Chelsea fans this weekend. But things can always turn around for you guys. As a Liverpool fan, let me just give you some sort of words of encouragement. I've been there before. I know how it feels. When you're just losing, and you're just like, where is our next victory going to come from? But it's football. It's one of those things, and then your team is surely going to bounce back. So yeah, good one. So all right, guys. We've come to the end of the show for this week. Thank you guys for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe on our YouTube channel. If you think there's something we can improve upon, please don't hesitate to let us know. Drop in the comments. We'll really appreciate your comments. We really appreciate your likes. And if you also would like to come onto the show, you want to talk about your club, you feel like there are some things that you know about your club and like we have not pointed out, please don't hesitate to reach out to us on Instagram and we'll be willing and to have you on the show. So it's the show for the fans, man. So it's football fans, it's a fans show. Like I always say, we're not pundits, we're fans as well. So please, we'll be willing to have you on our show. So thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next week in the next one. Take care.
Thank you.